On this episode of Motorhead Garage, the latest technology to keep you off the side of the road, flat out the best space-saving lift, and much more.
Impact gun is good to take a wheel off. Don't ever use it to put it on. You want to torque it. Dave, you got the wheel off, bud.
Yeah, you keep working over there, buddy. Hey, welcome to Motorhead Garage. Well, folks, today we're working on a project that probably not many of you have ever seen, and that is the parking brake on some of these cars. And they're like a little drum brake that you'll find that's in the hatch section of the rear rotor. And we got Chris Abel here from AMS Automotive, who has brought a nice supply of brake pads and liners for this. And tell us a little bit about this drum brake that you find for the parking brake, as we call it.
Well, Dave, the emergency brake or the parking brake goes inside of the drum and hat rotor. We offer a complete selection of emergency brake shoes for those applications, and today we're going to be installing a set of ProQuiet brake shoes for the emergency brake.
All right, now it's interesting about this parking brake. Now I hate to say it, but a lot of people don't use it very often, so consequently they kind of get rusted up and then they get frozen up and then they won't work at all. And especially with these drum brakes like this, if you let it go, they can be kind of a problem, but eventually they do wear out and you got to replace them, and especially if you've left the thing on partially, you know, it doesn't take long to burn one up. But I'm glad you brought some nice brakes. You got your pads here and we got our liners here. Let's see how Sam's coming along over there. Great.
All right, what I'm doing now is I'm measuring the thickness of this disc with the micrometer right here in the front. We've got minimum thickness, 12.5 millimeter. I've measured it in a few different places, and of course this is a pretty smooth rotor, so flat mic's working good. Most of your disc brake micrometers will have a pointed anvil. This is measuring 13.1, 13.2, but it's got a lip on the outside edge where the pad doesn't ride, rust forms on there. There's not a lot of miles on this Jeep, but the people let it sit a lot. So it's got some rust and so on, so I'm gonna clean this rotor up and get this thing ready to put a set of pads on, and the shoes will be inside there. There's also a dimension for the maximum diameter of the drum. These drums don't get a lot of wear. It'll tear the shoes up if you drive with the parking brake on, but all I need to do is take this caliper off, and then I can go ahead and pull the rotor off. This is just a hat rotor, slides off over the studs. I can go clean it up, put a nice little non-directional finish on it. Aha! Look at that. That's a bonded shoe, inexpensive, cheap shoe. This is just like a set of regular brake shoes on a drum brake. This thing's been driven with the parking brake on, it's hot. So the bond let loose. That's why this thing was making noise. I'll take this rotor off, I'll clean it all up, and you can see here's the inside of the drum. It's a regular drum surface, just like on a drum brake. And these things are very similar. And you can see in here, there's a reluctor ring and a tone wheel for the ABS brakes, which this Jeep is equipped with. So I'll go clean this up.
All right, now you can see we're going to take these brake shoes off. Now the bottom liner fell off of this one, so you can see how good this is. A little bit rusty, not real bad, but these are all held on here with springs, so we take the springs off and see if we can't get these coming off here. Get this spring here. This might be a little bit tougher. All right, now we got our brake shoes off, and there you can see what they look like. This is the liner that goes on here. What we're gonna do is we'll go ahead and we'll clean all this up, make sure it's nice and clean, lube it, and we'll start putting this back together. In the meantime, we're gonna take a short break. Stay with us.
This edition of Motorhead Garage, presented by ARP, is being brought to you by ARP, the world leader in fastener technology. Original Parts Group, the world's largest source for GMA body parts and accessories. Flowmaster, the exhaust technology company. And by Bruce High Performance Transport, leading the industry since 1981.
welcome back to Motorhead Garage. Well, what I've done now is I got the shoes off. I've cleaned up this backing plate. You can see I got that all nice and clean. We kind of cleaned off as much rust off of this as we could. Checked everything over. And what I'm doing right now is I'm lubricating my nibs. Now, what this is, these are little places right here on the backing plate that extend a little bit that allow the brake shoe to ride on that. It keeps it away from the backing plate. What you want to do is take a little bit of high temperature lube and put just a little bit on there. You don't have to put a lot. But what this will do is this will keep it from making much noise, help control rattle, help it operate real nice and smooth. Now I want to lube some of the other areas up here, the adjuster, put a little bit of lubrication on that as well. Now, the key thing though is the adjuster. Here's what it looks like. It's going to fit right here between the shoes. Now behind that, there's a little opening here. It's got a little rubber plug in there. You pop that out. That's how you adjust it after you have it all assembled. But the important thing with this adjuster, if you take it apart, you can see this is what it looks like right here. You want to take a little bit of high temperature lubricant. Again, you don't have to put a lot on there, just a little bit. And put some on the threads around here, because what this is going to have to do is that's going to have to turn real easy so you can adjust it. Always put a little bit right here, and of course right here where the backing plates on the shoes ride. This way, again, it absorbs any vibration you might have. I'm going to go ahead and put my shoes together, get those on. Meantime, let's check out Sam. See how he's coming with that rotor.
When you're going to put a rotor on and put new pads on, you haven't turned it. Look at that, buddy. You want to clean it up, take a little 180 grit sandpaper, wash it good, and when you're done, and clean up, by the way, the drum surface where the shoes are going to ride. Look at that. Dave even put grease on the flange for me. I've got the flange surface here all cleaned up. Let's see how he did. Ah, look at that. Perfect. Again, I wash it with soap and water. I will hit it with some brake clean after we get the pads in. That's all there is to it. Buddy, time for you to put in some pads.
All right, well, Sam did a great job getting the rotor on there. I've got my brake pads here and my caliper ready to mount. And one of the things you want to do is adjust your parking brake on this thing so that you can turn your rotor and you get that set up right so you don't have the drag against this. That's all set. Now just go ahead and put this on. Now, one of the things you got to be careful of, these can be a little bit tricky, but you got to get your mounting bolt pieces back out of the way so this will slide on. And then if you do that, it'll slide on just like that. If you don't do that, you can fight it for a long time, so check it carefully. All I have to do now is go ahead, put in my bolts, tighten this up, and I'm in good shape. Now, one of the things that we have done is we've installed these new ultra-quiet disc pads from AMS Automotive. Now, take a look at them. You can see they're high quality. They got the nice little backing plate. This is a little pad. This will help keep it quiet. It's got clips on them. And by the way, you want to notice on this, look on here because they're right and left. The outboard pad is right or left. So you want to, especially on this particular model, so check that out. Otherwise, you'll get them on there and then you'll be fighting it. So this is a little tip for you to remember that. Now, once we get this all set up, we'll go ahead, bleed our brakes. We get them all bled. We'll get the other side done. We'll be in good shape on this Jeep. That's all there is to it on doing these brakes. Take a little bit of time, do the detail work on it. You'll be surprised how quiet your brakes are going to run. Well, we want to thank AMS Automotive for bringing some great products over here and give us an assistance on this. In the meantime, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we got a lot more coming here on Motorhead Garage.
On this week's Industry Update, we're featuring products from Cowles Custom. They've been making quality products right here in the United States for a long time. What we have is basically this stick-on chrome to dress up a vehicle. It has 3M tape, the same stuff that's on the car from the factory. The OEs use it at a fraction of the cost. They've got all kinds of different dimensions. Here's a brand new product from Cowles Custom. It's called Gap Trim. It comes in chrome, yellow, blue, and red. And the neat part is it's got like a little biter on it. This fits all the little gaps inside your interior. You can totally dress up your dashboard with this. Any place that you have a gap, you can use this product. Again, you put it on, got a 3M adhesive. You can take it off and move it around. When you get it where you want it, you let it set, it's permanent. Does a great job dressing up a vehicle. If it's a little plain Jane, you can fix it up and make it look great. And of course, if you want more information, you can check out their website.
Motorhead Garage, presented by ARP, coming to you from Borla Commerce Park.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage. I'm in this super duper Cadillac here. This is one of these supercharged things. Got 160 mile an hour speedometer. Don't turn me loose in it. But you know, one of the things you want to do is be a safe driver, not be distracted, be involved when you drive, but also, you know, you want to clip along and not get yourself a ticket. Here's a great way to go. This is the Escort Passport Max. Now, this radar detector is different than all the other ones. In fact, this was recognized at the 2013 SEMA show as the best new electronic product. And when you get it, it comes complete. Comes in a nice carrying case. You open it up, you get a mount, you get the suction mount for the windshield. Thing is really neat, good looking. What this does is it's going to alert you to red light cameras, going to tell you about the speed cameras, all the things that go on. It takes all the bands, radar, you know, K-band, X-band, laser, the whole thing. Mounts on your windshield, plugs in easily. It actually works with the phone app. You can see red light cameras, speed cameras. Up here in the corner, we actually have a cop with radar.
Caution, red light camera ahead.
See, it shows you a picture of the red light camera. Red light camera's ahead and tells you how many feet it is. You don't want to blow through a red light.
Red light camera.
Have them snap your picture.
Overspeed.
There you are, if you're going over speed, and it's telling you
A-band.
that's a KA band, and it lets you know.
Caution, live laser alert ahead.
See that? Now it's picking up laser, and you can see all the lights. The display is a pretty blue.
Laser alert.
You can change it to different colors. It's awesome. And laser is what they're using. And laser is what you want to be aware of. Let Dave show us all about how to really detect laser.
Hey, you know, Sam was talking about detecting lasers. Well, my question is, how do you deal with it? We got Ron Jivet in here from Escort Radar, who's got the answer for that. And Ron, you brought something that is absolutely fantastic. Tell me about this Laser Shifter Pro.
Dave, thank you very much. Our detectors will alert to laser, but laser works at the speed of light. And sometimes if you're in the signal and it's got a good return, you need something a little bit more than an alert. And the new Laser Shifter Pro gives you that something. What the Laser Shifter Pro does in its simplest form is it shifts the return signal back to the gun so that the laser gun is not able to get a legitimate speed reading. And as long as that occurs, you're not going to be stopped for speeding.
All right, now, Ron and I are getting ready to mount these shifters, and they mount right down in here. Now, this is really a critical factor when you go to mount these, because there's a couple things you really need to know about in there, Ron.
Well, first of all, laser is a line of sight technology, and because of that, the trigonometry is such that you have to be precisely looking straight down the path of travel. And because the laser beam is so tight, that's why the Laser Shifter Pro has two shifters. We like to split the coverage in the front of the vehicle, left and right of the center, one for each side, and the elevation between their targeting areas. They're trained to target the license tag or the headlamp. So with two shifters, one approximately halfway up and down, and split the center on that side, and the other shifter over here, now we're going to be completely covered for any scenario with the laser.
You send a little level along with the kit.
The laser diodes need to be looking straight down the path of the road to pick up that signal, so we recommend using the bubble level so that you know that the shifter set itself is now level up and down, horizontal to the road, and then on the front surface of the vehicle, you have to mount the flush face of the shifter so that it is in line with a line perpendicular to the travel of the car.
All right, now that's pretty level that way. Now I notice if I turn it this way, we need to put a little bit of a shim under there just to level it up.
Some people shim with VHB tape because they'll do an installation as we are with VHB tape, but the shifting set also comes with brackets, and those will simply bend in place as well.
All right, once we get these mounted, we'll fish these through under the grill here, and we got the additional wires that will run up through the engine compartment up into the firewall. All right, well, now we've run our wires up through here, the firewall. You can see them right here. Ron, tell me about this little gizmo.
This is the Laser Shifter Pro interface, and because it's modular, we make everything a snap. Bring the wire in with the RJ plug, snap it in 1 and 2, those are for the front. We have optional rear shifting as well for 2 in the rear. Now in the front, we have a modular connector that's going to tie in. It's going to have your switched 12 volts and your ground.
And we got a button here for it, and turns it off and on.
Install that behind the dash. It's an install and forget. You don't need to do anything else. The final adjustment, a slotted screwdriver goes in right here. Change the volume and you're set. This is our software data port, so now any shifting technology that changes external, we can match that in software. You come to the website, download to your laptop, bring the laptop out to your vehicle, plug into this port, update your system, and you're ready to go.
There you go, and it's a pretty easy installation. Now, once you know that you're being hit by radar, now you know how to deal with it. Hey, Ron, thank you for stopping by. Hey, we got a lot more coming here on Motorhead Garage. Stick around.
On the Steel Spotlight, and I'm here with Jason Graham, who just won the Golden Builder Award at the Hot Rod and Restoration Trade Show for this 1939 Chevy Coupe. Tell me what inspired it.
Yeah. Well, we wanted to do something a little different. We've been building the traditional hot rods. I wanted to do something on the custom side this time. So we found probably the ugly duckling of original cars. And we took all the ugly out and made it sleek, sexy, and cool.
How much is this thing chopped?
It's a straight 5-inch chop, but we went a little further and moved the rear window forward, closed the quarters in, made it a 3-window, made it flow into the trunk much better. I wanted to blend some hot rod design in with the custom. That kind of inspired the headers to come out.
And that header is attached to what?
It's a 1960 348. They called them the old W motors. It's got 6 Strombergs on it.
Well, we love this car. We love the work you do, and I'm sure you're going to be seeing Jason on the Steel Spotlight in years to come.
This edition of Motorhead Garage, presented by ARP, is being brought to you by Gray Area Technologies, in it for the long run. Quick Cut Sanders, the world's best wet sanding system. Bling Star, accessorizing UTVs and ATVs worldwide. And by Power Curve, extreme performance products.
Hey, welcome back to Motorhead Garage. Well, folks, you guys out there, it's got a collision garage. I got something for you that you need to know about that's going to make your job a lot easier. It's called the Auto Body Flat Rack. You can see, lays right here on your floor. It's only 3 inches tall. It's something that everybody ought to have. We're going to show you how it works. Hey, Sam, bring that car on in. Okay, folks, well, you can see what we have here. We got the car up all ready to go, and I want to introduce you to Tom Briscoe here. He's with Brewer Automotive Equipment. And Tom, thank you for bringing this by and showing us what all it can do.
My pleasure.
Now, we've got this thing kind of set up. Explain what we got here.
Well, to begin with, we're starting off with a piece of equipment that's just 3 inches thick, and yet it'll pick up a 7,000-pound GVW vehicle, which nobody else could do that I know of anyway. And the big deal is if you keep that thing on the floor nice and low, it's not tying up your base space like what happens with frame machines. Anybody's frame machine takes a bag and a half. That's just the way it is.
Now, I notice you just drop this down, set this up. It's got a lock on it,
It's got 2 locks on it. When I hear it clicking, I know that it's setting the safeties. One safety lock will hold 7,000 pounds. This has got 2 of them. So it's
going to be good and safe here.
You're good and safe here, and it'll hold a lot more than it'll pick up.
All right, now this looks pretty versatile to me. Tell me what you have here and what all this is going to do.
Well, the pulley machine, this pull arm will go 360 degrees around the machine. It'll go at any angle you want it to be at. If you're going to angle it in, it's got pins you drop through these holes here to tie it to the rack to lock it in position. If you're going straight in, like we're going to do here today, straight away, like so, you don't need any pins. The chain will come out of here, and I've got it set to where I've got several optional pulleys here we can use with the machine. If we're going to pull this lower control arm forward, you're going to hit the bumper, needless to say. So we got this pulley we mounted here called a low pulley. That lets that chain come out of here nice and low, get you out of there, get you your lower control arm. When you make your pull, you're not going to tear up your bumper.
I know it's right here. This is all adjustable.
Yeah, it's just all the way down right there. Right. So anyway, in this lower position, you use this low pulley. All you gotta do is take it off is that. We also have a pulley here called a down pulley that'll lock in the front. And what it'll do, if you got something drove up in your front end here, you can give it a pull and pull that straight back down. Needless to say, if it's easy to go the other way, you just jack the car up when you got it held down in the back there.
So this is mounted up so that it's very versatile. I mean, you can put this about any angle you want, so depending
Any
on
angle.
what kind of a
Anywhere around the car.
car you're dealing with here, you can work on it.
Right. Just get that height set where you want it. You come up to your control panel. This had to do with lifting the car up. This other one has to do with the pull arm. Just open that valve up. You got the same control button here. Hit the button.
There you go.
And it's going to pull 8,000 pounds.
8,000 pounds?
8,000 pounds is a whole bunch on a unibody car.
That's going to do a lot on
See what I'm
that.
saying? Comes with 4 unibody stands. It's adjustable in height, adjustable in length, adjustable in width. Every bolt in is 7/8. Get your impact gun, zip, zip. You can pick this right up here. Need no height.
And of course, right here, you can see it locks under the, right in there. All made in America, all heavy steel, all welded. There's a tremendous amount of weld in this thing. Now, you got 4 of these. They go into the pinch weld, or the pinch seam, as people call it. But you also need to lock the car down. So you've got your standard little chain here. And of course, you go into anywhere in the back where the transport holes are, where the transport trucks tie it down. Hook it on there, drop it in here, and you pull. That anchors the car when you're pulling it forward. You got it mounted on the pinch seam. Makes it real quick. This saves you so much time. That puts money in your pocket.
You know, once you have this down on the ground, you can jack it up and roll it around, get it out of your way if you need to.
Raise it about a foot high in the front end here. Put a floor jack under this beam, and you can push it because there's wheels under the back end at all times. It has to do with lift.
And that's neat the way you're pulling jack on your cradle. You slide it on here and you lift it off the jack so no one's having to manhandle that.
No, nothing.
Thanks again for stopping by. Folks, we've run out of time. We're going to see you again next time here at Motorhead Garage.
So long.
Now, can we talk you into letting us keep this right here?